Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm very pleased to be here with all of you today. I hope that next year we all get to see each other in person. I'm going to provide some opening remarks before we get started. I want to thank Lisa Catilla for including me on today's Innovate New Mexico Technology Showcase event. I know this needed to be held virtually again this year due to the pandemic, but again, I look forward to seeing you all in person next year. 2021 was obviously somewhat of a mixed bag, where uncertainty and complexity became the new normal, from disappointment to optimism, from setbacks to progress. But that's part of why our support for the innovation ecosystem in New Mexico is so important to our state. We can't begin to overcome 21st century problems with 20th century solutions. The companies that you'll see and hear from today represent the promise of progress, from tackling climate change and greenhouse gas emissions, breakthroughs in biosciences and healthcare, and to the pinnacle of exploration, innovations in aerospace. And because of the robust innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem here in New Mexico, I want to let you know that we remain optimistic about our future. A lot of businesses still need our help, and we are working on ways that we can do exactly that. But despite the economic turbulence, many New Mexico businesses are growing, and we are helping them as well. And the silver lining is that we are increasingly hearing from businesses outside the state that they're interested in New Mexico. Many of them have discovered that they don't have to be in one of the 10 biggest metro areas in the country. And many companies and people are deciding that they would prefer more affordable housing options, shorter commutes, and better access to amenities like the outdoors. Next week, the Economic Development Department will release our most recent quarterly economic reports for every county in the state, and the news is surprisingly good. Record activity, record revenues. Our economy is growing quickly across most industry sectors in 30 of our 33 counties. The Economic Development Department assisted in the creation of more than 5,000 new jobs in fiscal year 2021, a record in more than a decade. And we are planning for how to continue this momentum and expand on it moving forward. New Mexico's ecosystem has exploded. In 2005, the state created a certification program for business incubators. Co-working spaces and accelerators were not even on the radar screen then. And there were only a handful of entrepreneurship programs in New Mexico, mostly in our largest cities and universities. But now we are truly a rainforest in the desert, and thanks to Lisa and all of you for making that happen. Our mission at EDD is to improve the lives of New Mexico families by creating opportunities for businesses to thrive. To create a long-term roadmap to achieve this, with a grant from the Federal Economic Development Administration, we engaged the Stanford Research Institute International, or SRI International, to help us formulate a 20-year strategic plan, which was released last quarter called Empower and Collaborate, New Mexico's Economic Path Forward. We didn't do it alone. A sincere thank you to everyone who helped inform the plan, with more than 100 agencies, organizations, and stakeholders providing invaluable insight and feedback, and I know many of you are here today. In early 2021, we determined the need for a guiding strategy that not only identified ways to jumpstart New Mexico's near-term recovery, but also the state's long-term transformation into a more diversified, resilient, and inclusive economy. Ultimately, the mission of this strategy is to reimagine New Mexico's approach to economic development, beginning with building the capabilities necessary to facilitate statewide collaboration on common goals like economic growth, inclusion, and workforce readiness. The diversification agenda outlined in the plan is rooted in the 9 target industries identified by EDD, but the recommendations go beyond specific industry needs to address the broader challenges facing New Mexico. These recommendations are best viewed as a roadmap, one that enables New Mexico to build on its current momentum to create a robust, diverse economy that provides greater opportunities for residents and businesses of New Mexico's urban, rural, and tribal communities. New Mexico's economic transformation cannot happen immediately, nor can it be achieved by one agency alone. With support from stakeholders throughout the state, though, actions can be taken to begin a new era in New Mexico. The plan's methodology was based on 4 cornerstones. 1, state and regional economies. 2, our target industries. 3, our innovation ecosystem. And 4, our state and regional assets. The plan identified key challenge areas which shone a light on 6 primary areas of opportunity. First is to improve coordination between economic development stakeholders. What we're doing here today is part of that. The second is to do a better job attracting and retaining talent in urban, rural, and tribal communities. The third is aiming for coherence and alignment around higher education and industry. This is also part of that effort. The fourth is engaging with underserved communities throughout all stages of the process. The fifth is creating access to capital and opportunities outside of the public sector dominated innovation ecosystem. And lastly, diversifying the economy and decreasing our reliance on a few key industries. The plan's purpose and our focus at the Economic Development Department is to build a diverse and robust economy that engages local talent, cultivates innovation, and delivers prosperity for all New Mexicans. Execution will require coordination among different stakeholders across New Mexico, whose collective action is necessary to achieve this vision. As I said before, we cannot do this alone, but we have the opportunity for collaboration among government, industry, academia, and nonprofit and philanthropic communities. One of the 6 pillars of the plan that I want to highlight this morning is part of the reason we are here today, and that's enabling high-quality, homegrown innovation, building entrepreneurial capacity, removing barriers to capital resources, creating a welcoming environment for entrepreneurs and startups, as well as connecting entrepreneurs and innovators to critical industry knowledge and resources. EDD is also growing to help with this and other parts of the plan. We just finished this legislative session with the best budget we've ever had, nearly doubling our regional rep capacity so we can have more boots on the ground to help local communities, local businesses, bolstering support for Main Street, LIDA, and JTA, and creating a second permanent position for our Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, or JEDI office. We will be reaffirming the mission and vision of our Technology Research Collaborative, and the state is continuing to strengthen our venture capital, angel, and investment communities. New Mexico has a potent legacy in terms of science and innovation. We have great entrepreneurial, prototype, and manufacturing resources, as well as an innovation culture that runs deep. Some of the most disruptive technologies in history were catalyzed through the collaboration of academia and the private and public sectors. And New Mexico is well positioned to take advantage of that collaboration. We're at the inflection point of multiple exponential technologies, from computer processing power and quantum computing, to innovations in aerospace technology, to industries facing disruption like healthcare, finance, and many more. All of those technologies can be produced and commercialized here, as we've seen with industry, technology transfer from the labs, and breakthroughs from our universities. We know that we're going through tough times, the toughest that many of us and the businesses we work for or own have ever experienced. But there is also hope. We have a great chance now to move economic development in our state forward in ways that we've never done before. But we'll need your help and the help of all of our partners across the state. We are so pleased to be able to engage with our institutional and legacy partners, many of whom we know are here in attendance today. We are also eager to engage with and support our new partners, like SarahCap Ventures, which is raising a $100 million fund with the goal of allocating 10% to New Mexico-based portfolio companies. They are also interested in relocating several of their existing portfolio companies to New Mexico if they can meet the company's outstanding needs, which revolve around accessing talent, capital, and providing institutional support. Challenges that a lot of companies go through, challenges that require systems and collective action to address. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, Abhi Mukherjee. He is currently an operating partner at SarahCap Ventures. He is a growth strategy specialist, having served the global technology industry for over 23 years in various senior executive and technology leadership roles, with a focus on leveraging process innovation and technologies disruption to galvanize business transformation for multiple industry verticals across 4 continents, with a global footprint in the United States, Canada, Mexico, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Germany, Israel, India, and Singapore. Abhi has successfully orchestrated over $1.2 billion of enterprise software and digital strategy engagements during his stint at several multi-billion-dollar multinational organizations, as well as fast-paced mid-sized companies and dynamic growth startup firms. His expertise defines includes defining enterprise-specific actionable business transformation strategy centered on holistic innovation, disciplined disruption, and exponential thinking that is incremental, iterative, and scalable. Thank you again for having me. Be safe, everyone, and I look forward to our keynote address.